So here's what we've got. 10 designer fragrances that I just haven't been able to keep my hands off. Plain and simple. It should be an easy one today. These are fragrances that I've just been obsessed with. I've been wearing all the time. A couple of which are going to be new to the channel, newer to my collection in general. So there's always that honeymoon phase where you just, you get something new, you smell it, it exceeds your expectations, and you end up wearing it a lot. So part of it's that. We also have kind of more some OGs in here, a couple of which, that I've had in the collection for a long time. Maybe I've rediscovered them a little bit here recently, or maybe they're always at the top of my list to wear, and that's just no surprise. Regardless, there's a really, really nice mix here. Some actually are a little bit on the fresher side. Even though it is wintertime, it's kind of actually the coldest part of winter, or at least we're heading into it, February here. When I'm inside during the day, sometimes I want something more fresh and uplifting, especially if I'm trying to be productive. You choose a scent that's super warm and, kind of cuddly, almost warm, inviting. It almost wants to put you to sleep a little bit, or makes you relaxed feeling. Sometimes I need something kind of, zesty and strong and a little bit citrusy to help wake me up and give me some motivation. So you'll find that there is a nice little mix of just a whole bunch of different stuff, all sorts of walks of life in this video here that we're going to be covering. So you're basically guaranteed to find something that you're going to like if you're looking to add some stuff to your collection. I will link all of these up to discounters down below, and I will also provide the FragranceNet 35% off link. Clicking that will automatically apply the current best code for you, so that way you can get the most amount of money off on your purchase, because they're always swapping out codes, all of that stuff. That link takes the guesswork out of it. Here we go. Let's talk about some of my loves, some of my dirty little obsessions here. Let's go. First up, Boss Selection. Just Boss Selection right here. Starting it off with a scent that looks very simple on paper. At face value, this does not look interesting at all. It looks boring. And, that's part of the reason why maybe I didn't get it right away, when I saw this one initially. But then, I kind of kept going back to it, and I'm like, all right, I need to go ahead and just give this one a shot. And it's been more of a recent purchase for me, but it's one that I've been overall incredibly impressed with. Grapefruit, pink pepper, cedarwood. Again, the note breakdown, there's nothing special here, but the actual scent itself is quite nice. It does have a nice, different take on, a clean, fresh fragrance for men. It's got a nice masculine backbone to it. It's kind of fresh and uplifting and clean, but it also has, a kind of an earthy woodiness underneath in the base. It's a fragrance that is incredibly versatile, one that could easily be a signature scent, and it's one that is slept on. This is also not a new fragrance by any means, but it is one that you can get for, I want to say, I think I paid maybe $30 for this one. Maybe that's pushing it. Maybe it was a bit less. But all in all, what you get is a scent that's very easy to pull off, very classy. The presentation on this one, while nothing to write home about and is nothing amazing, it's very simple and very clean, very classy looking. I think the presentation represents the scent itself very well. And one thing that I did notice that is really cool, on the top of the cap, I don't know if you could see it, but it has like a textured look to it. Very cool, nice little detail, only on the top, not around the sides. Maybe you can see it, maybe you can't. It's not really a huge deal. But all in all, it's a really, really impressive scent. If you're after just kind of something different, and even though it's nothing super unique, it is still very wearable. So it kind of balances that line of being different, but also not too different. Great, great cheapie here that you can wear for about anything. Masculine, smells great. Next up, one that I did feature a few videos ago is in a top 10, Mercedes-Benz Le Parfum. So this brand is one that I really need to continue to dive into because there's a couple of the obvious ones that I've talked about on the channel. Probably most notably Club Black, which is kind of out of stock right now, but that one's like a top tier vanilla scent from a car company fragrance brand, and it overshadows a lot of my other vanilla fragrances, which is crazy. Mercedes-Benz Cologne, that one smells like DIOR Homme Cologne. I talked about that one a good amount. Select Night, and even the original Select I've talked about here and there. The original is an Aventus inspired scent. So I guess I've talked about more than I may think, but they still have a lot of other fragrances that I should discover and dive into, because so far they've almost been hit after hit in terms of me smelling them and really liking them. This one's got oud, violet leaf, and amber as just some of the main notes here. So it's really interesting. It's a different combination because, you know, you get this nice earthy, woody, kind of a Middle Eastern smelling oud. But then you also get this fresh, clean, ozonic, almost aldehydic violet leaf note, and then a sweet, kind of sticky amber. So it's a kind of a broad spectrum of notes going on here, fresh and earthy and woody and sweet. But it ultimately comes together and creates something that is very unique and also a relatively entry-level, easy to get into oud fragrance. The oud is not overbearing. It's obviously going to be of the synthetic variety. We're not going for niche quality oud here, but it's one that you could really get into, and I think a lot of you guys would enjoy it because it's not just straight up oud. There's other notes going on to balance it out. It's impressive stuff coming from a car company brand after all. Performance is good, quality is fantastic, smell is great. This stuff here is a true winner, and I encourage you to check it out for wintertime. So next one is definitely not new to the channel on any front, whether it be new to the collection or just new to being featured. This is an OG, big time OG. It's been talked about on my channel for years in a row now, and so you know where this one slots in. Of course, it's SPICEBOMB Extreme, vanilla, black pepper, tobacco. Basically for me, you know, I always have this mindset, this thought process when we're moving out of summer, moving into fall, and then from fall moving into winter. You know, I always think in my head, okay, I'm missing summertime already. I like the warm weather. I like summer activities. So we're moving into wintertime. It gets a little bit more boring, but I do like the winter fragrances. And one thing that I always think of is as soon as it gets cold, I'm hitting SPICEBOMB Extreme hard. It's like every single time I feel a little bit of, you know, cool crispness in the air. I'm like, yeah, I'm about ready for this stuff. Without fail, I always think of this one when it gets cold out. It's vanillic, it's peppery, it's masculine, it's got this gorgeous red pipe tobacco smell. It's just one of the best designer fragrances out there for wintertime, in my opinion. That SPICEBOMB DNA, but a bit more refined and mature. I'm not going to spend any more time on it. You guys have heard me talk about this one before, but just to be honest, I mean, quite frankly, I'm obsessed with it, and that's all you need to know. Let's keep this one going. We're going to go with Dark Rebel Rider by John Varvatos up next. So the deal with this one is, well, obviously, if you've been around on the channel, you know this is not new to my collection. But essentially, I was doing some looking online, and I made a post making you guys aware of the original Dark Rebel being discontinued and getting expensive on discounters. I kind of put that out there and said, yo, this is clearly not a good sign. It's a sign that stock is really going quick on this one and drying up. That's why the price is getting marked up. So you guys sold that one out and you got your backup bottles, which is awesome. That was my whole goal, was to make you aware. So if you wanted a bottle to begin with or a backup bottle, you could get it. And then I was like, you know, it's sad to see that one go, but the original Dark Rebel Rider here is also getting more expensive, but not to that level. So here's my point. This one also is great, also climbing in price. Wouldn't surprise me if this one's being axed either. Maybe it already is, maybe they're not, who knows, but I would consider getting one of these before the price gets out of hand. You can get, what is this, 120 mils for $57, and Dark Rebel 2.5 ounce bottles were going for $60. So you can see the huge difference here. My point is, get this one before it doubles in price. Leather, resin, olibanum, some woods in here. It's smoky, it's creamy, it's resinous. It's very leathery, but it's more of a smooth, leathery smell rather than the original Dark Rebel kind of having this more rugged smokiness to it. Some people have said the original Dark Rebel smells like an ashtray. I don't think it's quite to that extent, but I do think the original is more strong. This one's more smooth and creamy. Regardless of that, it's not looking great for this one either, so I'd recommend you get a bottle before it becomes a part of history like Dark Rebel. Alrighty. Polo Supreme Leather by Ralph Lauren. Leather, tonka bean, and honey. So from one leather fragrance to another. Here's the beauty though. Nothing alike. They really are not. Supreme Leather here, most notably, is more of a fresher leather. It doesn't have all that resinous, sweetness, smokiness going on like in Dark Rebel Rider. Just kind of more of a fresh take, probably more of a mass-pleasing take. It's also not too strong of an animalic leather note or anything like that, which is nice from a mass appeal standpoint. And at the end of the day, it is a Ralph Lauren fragrance, huge designer brand. They're focused on pleasing the masses, and that's what this one's going to do. But it will give you a little bit of a unique twist, right? It's not going to be like something super boring, like a citrus fragrance that's very generic. It's a few steps above that, to where if you want to stand out a little bit, but you don't want to be too daring, this is kind of what you would want to aim for. I've really been enjoying this one. It was a fragrance that was on my radar for a good while, on my, to purchase list. I just, for whatever reason, I never made it happen, never pulled the trigger. Finally, relatively recently, I ended up getting my bottle, and I wish I would have gotten it sooner because it is very pleasant. Super wearable leather fragrance that works great in the wintertime. So this next one is a fragrance that I've been kind of talking about here and there a little bit. From Dolce & Gabbana, it is the One Gentleman. Pepper, vanilla, lavender, and cardamom. So I've been saying that I was a little bit disappointed in myself for not giving this one maybe as much of a chance early on. Really, I was just kind of ignoring it, to be honest. And it's a shame, because it does have a good amount to offer here. It's a good amount of a variation from the original The One. So it's not quite to that level. This one has more of a fresh, spicy take, even though there is still some sweetness, like the cardamom and all that sort of thing. But it's just a different take. Not quite as date night oriented like the original and the EDP. Just kind of a different personality with this one. But I do think that's very appealing. It's one that you can wear during the day. You can wear it just kind of even as your signature scent. And you can save the original, the one, EDT, EDP, that type of style of scent for date nights and that sort of thing. This is also one that's either discontinued, or if it's not yet, it would not surprise me one single bit if it would be in the future, because this one, you really just don't see it talked about. I highly doubt this one is moving anywhere close to the original Dolce & Gabbana, the One fragrances. Those are hot, those are bestsellers. This one's overlooked. So you can get this one for a good price on discounters. A little bit more expensive than some of the others, which leads me to believe that maybe it is discontinued and the stock is starting to get low. So if you want one, I would grab one. I'll link it down below. Next up, Le Male Essence de Parfum by Jean Paul Gaultier. Leather, cardamom, and vanilla are some of the main notes. So before shooting this video, I actually sprayed it up in the air a couple times. Which is funny because I've been wearing it a lot by itself, so I've definitely been smelling it a lot. But it's one of those addicting fragrances for me. I mean, I can just smell this stuff all day, hence why I've been wearing it so much. It's spicy, it's oriental, but it's also smooth, creamy, and sweet. It is a fantastic flanker here. So if you're not a fan of ultra male, way too sweet for you, if the original Le Male is just, the original Le Male, it's played out for you. If you're not even really a fan of Les Parfums, kind of the newest flanker, maybe that one's still either too sweet or whatever, maybe give this one a shot. It's still a sweet fragrance, but more spicy and not quite as juvenile as maybe some of the others, at least in my opinion. But of course, I still want you to look into it, do some research for yourself, see if it's something you're going to be interested in. For me, I think it smells great. It's addicting stuff. It's something a little bit different, and I love it. Running down to the end, we've got DUNHILL Custom. So something that is completely random, but really, really good stuff. This was only like $20, I believe, right on the dot. Clearance for 20 bucks. Apple, incense, pepper, and cedarwood. So really, I should have clarified, it's more of a red apple. I mean, when you smell this one, especially off the top, it's a nice, vibrant, juicy red apple note. Nice smokiness, a nice, kind of spicy, peppery smell, some sweetness, some wood start to come in right behind it. This is very classy, and it smells incredible. This is everything that I would look for in a fall and wintertime fragrance, and again, at this price point, it is an absolute no-brainer. I think just about anyone who is into, fall and winter themed fragrances should 1000% look into picking this one up, especially at this price. It has a little bit of a uniqueness to it. Now, given its price point, given that it is from a designer brand, it is still going to have maybe somewhat a familiar smell to you. It's nothing groundbreaking here, but it is shockingly good for the price. Quality is even nice, performance is okay, wow, I mean, this is really good, and that's why I've been wearing it a lot. Can't help myself. Second to last fragrance, this would be the newest one out of the video, newest release that is, and that is DIOR Homme Sport 2021. Lemon, aldehydes, elemi, bergamot. Man, this one blew me away. This shocked me in the best way possible. And you guys saw that, right? You saw my first impressions. I mean, that opening is incredible. Vibrant, tart, sharp, strong. This one opens up right out of the gate, just full throttle, no holding back. So this is kind of what I was referencing in the beginning of the video when I was talking about some of these are a little bit fresh to kind of give me a, you know, a little pickup, give me some motivation, like a shot of caffeine or something. That's kind of what I was alluding to here, and that's what I was thinking about was DIOR Homme Sport 2021, that Citrus Blast. It gets you on your feet. So for me, if I'm feeling a little bit sluggish, you know, if I'm going to be trying to get some stuff done inside, this is kind of one of the things I would reach for just to give me a wake-up call. And I'm telling you guys, I cannot wait to wear this one in the spring and early summertime. We've got a couple more months to go here, and then I'll be able to test it and see how it does in that type of weather. I'm super excited. This stuff is impressive. For me, far, far better. No comparison to the 2017 version. That one was just not for me, but this one is big time. And we're going to finish this one off with Dolce & Gabbana Intenso. Lavender, tobacco, and sandalwood. There's also hay, which is always fun. So a little specialty note there, a little bit strange, but this one's different, right? Quite unique. There's even like watery notes, almost a slight saltiness. So it's quite just a different scent. It's out of left field a little bit. It's not something that everyone would be expecting to kind of see in terms of all the notes working together here, but it works very well. It's powdery, it's very classy, has a little bit of this dusty benzoin type of texture to it, very masculine, kind of rugged, maybe slightly old school, depending on your definition of old school. I know for people who are into, you know, the super sweet fragrances, if you go from that to this, it's going to be throwing you off. But if you already dabble in some, you know, aromatic fougères, citrus aromatics, that sort of thing, this would probably smell a little bit more current than those. So it just depends on where you're at. For me, it's one that I really enjoy for its uniqueness. It's different. I don't have anything else that smells like it. I haven't smelled anything else that smells like it, so it really does stand on its own. And when I'm after something different and unique, if I'm just kind of in that mood one day, randomly, that's kind of what I go for. I've been enjoying it a lot here lately. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. That is 10 designer fragrances. Quite frankly, I've just been obsessed with these. Can't stop wearing them. I need to start making some room for some new stuff. Always have new stuff coming in. Need to continue testing and branching out and trying new things. But this is kind of where I've been really spending a lot of my time with. Remember, I will provide links to these down below, along with the Fragrance Net 35% off code. Also, Dark Rebel Rider. Seriously, consider it. Don't end up having to either miss out on it or paying more as the stock goes away. Maybe even same with the one Gentleman. Up to you. Those links will be down there. You know what to do. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.